it say about us that we're here and not in the Bahamas?
That worries me. I think your judgment is poor. Before we start, I told Jones Angel the other day, we go to Raleigh 2 hours before the game. They go to the Bahamas 3 days before the game. I'm not sure that this deal is like it's supposed to be. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. It's a wonderful time of the year, and it's a great time of the year for football fans. I mean, rivals are just fun. It's teams that are spirited and don't like each other very much, but have respect for each other, and the fan bases are the same way. So I think it's my most favorite week of the year. We had a meeting this morning early and asked the guys what you're thankful for, and anybody that wanted to stand up and say what they're thankful for. And it was really heartwarming to hear all the stories from the guys. And Sally and I are really thankful to be here. It's been a wonderful year. We're thankful for these kids, and we're thankful that the fans and the university and the kids have all accepted us back, and that we've had a fun year, and that stadium's been full, and guys are excited about having a meaningful game in November. So we feel very, very blessed, and that's just something that we told the team this morning. Practice has been good. You know, both these teams have been teams that have had tight games, and both these teams have had a lot of injuries, and both these teams have got a lot of young players, so it should be a fun game on Saturday night.
It's been a year since you were announced as the head coach. When you look back on it, was it what you expect, or how was it different? How was it?
I think it's much better than I expected it to be. I guess I didn't know what to expect because it all happened so fast, and I didn't know if I'd coach again. But you're never sure that when you come back and start over after 5 years, are you as good at it? Will you be as excited about it? Will you have the same energy that you had before? And really, I'm more excited than I've ever been in my life in coaching. I've got more energy than I think I've ever had. I think I'm a better coach than I've ever been. And I'm just so excited about the future of this place. It's really a fun time for me. So it went so fast. I wouldn't have thought this was a year already when I stood in front of these young guys and started talking about this process. And it's so much better now than it was then because I know the guys. I know who we are, and I know the things we have to work on, the things we got to fix. So the experience has been better than I could have ever expected the first one to be. We could have lost all the games, but we could have won all the games. So that means we're close to the two teams that are playing for the Coastal on Friday, because we came down to the last drive with Virginia and 6 overtimes with Virginia Tech. So that just shows you how close we are to getting where we need to be.
What's been the biggest challenge in the first 4 years?
I think the biggest challenge of any first year is getting your staff to work together and be cohesive and believe in each other and all believe in the same stuff, and getting your players to believe in you and the staff, and especially when they've lost so many tight games, and then we've lost some, just getting them to hang in there and keep competing. And these kids have done that. They've given us everything they've got, and they continue to do it this week.
Fans see stuff that's on the field, but how much of a challenge is that, getting your staff together to where they're all on the same page and they're cohesive?
It's really hard. And then you get really strong coaches that have a lot of opinions, and they've been successful in their own right with certain things. Then they want those things, and then the coordinators have to negotiate with them to put some in and keep some out, and then I have to get involved, and then some of them get mad and they pout, and I've told them until our staff pulls together, which this one has done, then the players aren't going to pull together because they feel it, and they see you if you've got tension. So that's a huge thing, and I think we've also hired a good staff, so that fits our place in recruiting.
What was the understanding that you had as soon as you got here last year of kind of the in-state recruiting dynamic and how state had kind of taken control of that?
I think that Coach Fedora had a lot of turnover on his staff, so there wasn't much continuity in recruiting. And that's one thing that we're really trying to do, is make sure that we have the same coach in the same high school every year. And that was tough for Larry. So we want continuity in the state, and we're going to be in every school in the state every year. And we want the coaches to know who that guy is, so we can pick up the phone, call him, say, I need tickets to the game, or can I come to practice? And I don't think Larry had that at the end.
Looking at state, obviously every week not turning the ball over is important, but they've especially struggled forcing turnovers. Has there been an extra emphasis on that this week for your team?
You know, it's been every week, and I don't know why we haven't forced turnovers, but normally you have to stop the run on first down. You have to put the quarterback in second and long, third and long before you're going to have a bunch of turnovers, because that's when you should be in better control, and we haven't been able to do that. So I think that's the reason. The reason we're still in contention for a bowl game is we haven't turned the ball over. So our offense is really taking care of the ball. Our defense hasn't been able to get it. So that's obviously a huge key every week, but a big key for Saturday night.
A few weeks ago, I don't remember exactly the week, but you mentioned that you want the offense and defense to work together. Have you seen progress there?
We have. That's the other thing with the staff. When they pull together, and there's like the Clemson game, we huddled up some. We slowed the game down more than we have in some other cases. And we'll tell the offense, this is a week where you got to score more points, or we'll tell the defense, you're going to have to stop them now, because we're not going to be able to score points on offense. And so we have a meeting, in fact, this afternoon. At 3 o'clock, we'll have a staff meeting, and we'll sit down, and I'll say, Jay, go over everything in your game plan so everybody in the staff meeting can hear it. Same thing with Phil, same thing with Scott. And then we'll all say, so what do you think, Jay? They're going to move the ball a lot? Is this going to be one that we're going to have trouble stopping them? So we don't want any surprises on Saturday. We want everybody to know what the other part of the staff thinks.
The 93 game, your first time here, how big does that win kind of rate up with the ones that you had during your first stretch when you guys ended the losing streak to State and got them over there?
I think it was really big. It gave us, we were recruiting better, but State was, again, very powerful in recruiting, like now when we got to Carolina before and we weren't winning, so we couldn't move as quickly as we wanted to. And then the joy of that game was the winning. The disappointment was the fight afterwards with the two coaches, so I didn't get to enjoy it very much. I was having to try to figure out what happened on the field and what we were going to do, and then both coaches got suspended, and we had to go to Greensboro to see Commissioner Corrigan and all the things that were around it. But that was a huge step for us moving forward.
Speaking of fighting, some of the guys yesterday mentioned composure being important this weekend, and Javante even threw the word out, not fighting. In light of the way last year's game ended, has that been a little bit of an extra emphasis this week because of that, and also this game just tends to be a little chippier than other games?
These guys know each other, and it's an important game to both universities. And what I told the guys, if we win, and we hope we do, and we go to a bowl game, you don't get to go if you fight. Or you, like this year's South Carolina game, guys are sitting there on the sideline, don't get to play. So don't do that. Just play the game. You can be physical between the whistles. You don't need to be doing extracurricular stuff that hurts you.
What specifically has your team most improved on through 11 weeks that's going to help you guys on Saturday?
I think the biggest thing is their confidence. They're learning to have fun at practice, and they're learning to practice hard every day. And we've continued to put emphasis on depth, so they're not as tired during the game some. But I would think that they believe in this staff right now, and our staff believes in them, and they're more confident right now than I've seen them all year. The fact that they could go to a Mercer game where they were not as good as we were, be ready to play, be excited, and get that over fast is a huge step for us. And I think that's from confidence and understanding the process and trusting the process.
At your press conference, introductory press conference, you called you saying you wanted to win right away for the seniors. You're in the process of doing that. How confident were you then that you could actually achieve?
I'm always confident. I mean, this is what I do, and I can coach. That's the one thing I know I can do. And they were in a lot of close games, so I felt like, and Larry had quarterback issues because he had a lot of people hurt. We had those two coming back. We had Sam that I thought we'd get. So I was ready to go. And I didn't know a lot about our team because 5 or 6 of those guys on defense were injured, and they weren't even in spring practice. So I was really worried about our defense this spring. I felt really good about it when we were coming back for the fall because I said, this is a bunch better than I thought they were going to be. And then we get our injuries before and right after Clemson, and we haven't been as good since. So hopefully our corners can step up and play better on Saturday night.
When news started to come out last year that you were going to take this job, what was the most shocked reaction you got from a friend or a call or anything like that?
That I had a cush job with TV, and they all thought I had the best job in America. Why in the world would I do this? In fact, they all thought I was nuts. And Sally understood. I mean, she knew I loved to coach, and I love kids, and we had limited it in so many different ways that we would not go back to certain places. And then we finally got to a point that this was the only one we'd come back to. We love Larry and Christy, and we wanted them to be successful, so I had pretty much just said, I'm through, and let it go. And then when the change came up, we got the call, we thought we were just supposed to come back.
What's the plan again for the next couple days with the team?
We'll meet in the morning at 7:30 as a team. We'll meet for a couple hours, and then we will practice, have a couple hour practice out here. Our normal Thursday practice. We'll be in the stadium if it's dry and nice enough. We'll be in here if it's rainy. And then the guys will get to go wherever they want to eat their Thanksgiving meal. And we had it planned where Sally and I would eat with any of the kids that didn't have a place to go. And I think it's another great sign. Every player on the team has a place to go with each other. So they've taken care of each other, and then they'll report back and be back here by Friday at 3 o'clock so we can have our walkthrough before we have our regular Friday session. But that was really cool when I heard that this morning.
What is your ideal Thanksgiving plate?
I'm sorry?
What's on your ideal Thanksgiving plate?
Sally knows I would take white bread, turkey sandwich with dark meat, and relish out of the can at the grocery store, and mayonnaise. That'd be the perfect Thanksgiving dinner for me. I love the sandwiches the day after Thanksgiving more than I love Thanksgiving, so it's really sad, but I really do. Sally always makes me sandwiches for about 2 weeks after Thanksgiving because I like them so much.
Never tried it with relish. I'm gonna have to try give that a shot.
That was what baffled me a little bit. The relish.
No, Sally, I got my mayonnaise and my relish on there. That's what I got. So.